Ralph Waldo Emerson delivered his famous address, The American Scholar, on August 31, 1837, at the Phi Beta Kappa Society at Harvard. This speech, often referred to as America's Intellectual Declaration of Independence, lays out Emerson's vision for the American intellectual, emphasizing self-reliance, individuality, and the need to break free from European intellectual traditions. Emerson challenges scholars to rise above mere book learning and to engage directly with life and nature, forging a new, distinctly American intellectual identity. The address begins by situating the American scholar within the broader cultural and intellectual framework of the time. Emerson laments that American intellectual life remains too dependent on European traditions, and he calls for a break from these influences to establish a unique and independent intellectual identity. He sets out to redefine the role of the scholar in society, calling him the man thinking, a dynamic and engaged individual who actively participates in shaping thought and culture rather than passively absorbing inherited knowledge. The scholar's relationship with nature. Emerson identifies nature as the first and most important influence on the scholar. He argues that studying and contemplating nature provides a direct and unmediated understanding of universal truths. According to Emerson, nature serves as a reflection of the human mind, and by observing the natural world, the scholar can gain insight into deeper truths about life and existence. Emerson's philosophy is rooted in the transcendentalist belief that nature and the human spirit are interconnected. He urges scholars to look to nature as a source of inspiration and wisdom, reminding them that it is through observing the patterns, cycles, and laws of nature that they can achieve intellectual and spiritual growth. By immersing themselves in nature, scholars can cultivate originality and independence, freeing themselves from reliance on the thoughts and ideas of others. The scholar's relationship with books. While acknowledging the value of books, Emerson warns against their overuse and misuse. He critiques the tendency to revere books as infallible sources of truth, cautioning that such veneration stifles creativity and intellectual independence. Emerson declares that books are tools to inspire thought but should not become substitutes for thinking. They are valuable as records of past achievements but must not be allowed to dominate the scholar's mind. Emerson emphasizes the importance of engaging with books critically, using them as starting points for original thought rather than as definitive answers. He reminds scholars that each generation has a duty to reinterpret knowledge in light of its own experiences and challenges. Blindly following the ideas of past thinkers leads to intellectual stagnation, whereas engaging with books dynamically fosters creativity and innovation. The scholar's relationship with action. In addition to nature and books, Emerson identifies action as a crucial influence on the scholar. He argues that scholars must not isolate themselves in ivory towers of intellectualism but must instead engage with the world around them. Action, Emerson asserts, is essential for translating ideas into reality and for testing the validity of intellectual theories. Through action, the scholar connects with society and gains practical experience, which enriches their understanding and sharpens their insights. Emerson insists that true knowledge comes not only from contemplation but also from active participation in the struggles and challenges of life. He warns against the dangers of excessive intellectual abstraction, advocating instead for a balance between thought and action. The scholar as a representative of humanity. Emerson broadens the role of the scholar, presenting them as a representative of humanity whose duty is to think and act on behalf of society. The scholar's mission is to serve as a moral and intellectual guide, shaping culture and inspiring others to live meaningful and authentic lives. Emerson calls upon scholars to embrace their role as leaders, urging them to use their intellectual gifts to uplift and enlighten society. To fulfill this role, scholars must cultivate self-reliance and originality, resisting the temptation to conform to societal expectations or to rely on established traditions. Emerson's vision of the scholar is one of boldness and courage, where individuals must trust their own instincts and insights, even when they challenge conventional wisdom. He insists that true scholarship requires independence of thought and the willingness to embrace uncertainty and change. The call for intellectual independence. A central theme of The American Scholar is Emerson's call for intellectual independence. He urges American scholars to break free from the shadow of European intellectual traditions and to create a distinctly American intellectual identity. Emerson argues that America's unique cultural and geographical context provides fertile ground for the development of original ideas and perspectives. Emerson envisions the American scholar as a pioneer, exploring new intellectual territories and challenging old assumptions. He sees the scholar's work as essential to the cultural and moral progress of society, emphasizing the need for a spirit of innovation and experimentation. By cultivating originality and self-reliance, Emerson believes that scholars can lead the way in shaping a vibrant and dynamic intellectual culture in America. The influence of society on the scholar. Emerson also addresses the challenges that society poses to the scholar. He acknowledges that social and economic pressures often discourage intellectual independence, leading individuals to conform to established norms and expectations. However, he urges scholars to resist these pressures and to remain steadfast in their commitment to truth and authenticity. Emerson emphasizes the importance of solitude and introspection in maintaining intellectual integrity. He argues that scholars must periodically withdraw from society to reconnect with their inner selves and to gain clarity of thought. This balance between engagement with the world and retreat into solitude is essential for fostering creativity and maintaining the scholar's independence. The scholar's responsibility to the future. Emerson concludes his address by emphasizing the scholar's responsibility to future generations. He calls upon scholars to rise above mediocrity and to embrace their role as pioneers of thought and culture. By doing so, they can inspire others to pursue truth, beauty, and goodness, creating a legacy that will endure for generations to come. Emerson's vision for the American scholar is one of optimism and hope. He believes that through self-reliance, originality, and a deep connection with nature and society, scholars can transform the intellectual and cultural landscape of America. His address is a rallying cry for intellectual independence and a reminder of the transformative power of ideas. Legacy of The American Scholar. The American Scholar has had a profound impact on American intellectual history, inspiring generations of thinkers, writers, and educators. Its emphasis on self-reliance, originality, and intellectual independence continues to resonate with audiences today. Emerson's vision of the scholar as a moral and intellectual leader remains a powerful ideal, challenging individuals to live authentically and to contribute meaningfully to society. The address also serves as a foundational text for the Transcendentalist movement, encapsulating many of its core principles and values. Its celebration of individuality and its critique of conformity have made it a timeless and enduring work, relevant to anyone seeking to navigate the complexities of intellectual and cultural life. In sum, The American Scholar is a call to action for individuals to think independently, to engage with life and nature, and to embrace their role as leaders and innovators in society. It is a powerful reminder of the potential of the human mind and spirit to shape the world and to inspire others to pursue truth and excellence.